Morning, day 11. So it's another day with literally nothing in the diary. So I do have a plan for today though. I'm gonna go scouting out and about. So it may actually involve no theme parks today. We shall see. But yeah, I'm gonna investigate some resorts. So we'll see which ones those are as the day progresses. So I'm really looking forward to that. Looks like another warm day. I will probably eat at one of those resorts. I think I know which one. Because it's one of the ones on the counter service list. Yeah, so let's get a move on. It's a bit of a late start. I tell you what time it is, just give me a second, but I've already forgotten. 8:44, didn't really get up till 7:30, 8 o'clock. So yeah, I'm sensing a wind down, a bit more of a relaxation wind down. At some point I will get a sense of some things I might want to maybe hit again or do again before I go maybe. But today, resorts. So as usual, when you go resort hopping, you end up going in the opposite direction to everyone else. So I'm at the Magic Kingdom and I'm walking round to the Pop Century bus, which is my first resort. I've not been there. It's supposed to look very nice. I think there's a bit of a walkway that connects you to Art of Animation, so I can see that as well. But obviously I'm going to an empty bus stop. Of course it's, I don't know, I think it's about 9ish. I'm not going to get my phone out again. Which means everyone's arriving and obviously I'm trying to leave, so we'll see how well that goes. I'll probably end up on a bus on my own again. So anyway, Pop Century is the first resort visit of the day on my general walkabout in the sun, which I'm really looking forward to. I've made it to the Pop Century. As you can see, whenever you do a graphic of the 80s, it has to be done in the style of an 8-bit video game. That seems to be a universal truth. Okay, so let's have a look around, see what it's like. Course, the essential 80s icon, the Rubik's Cube. So if I was staying here, I'd have to stay in the 80s section, right? I think technically this building is now the 90s building. This seems to have slightly less buildings, I think, than the rest. But anyway, this computer's important. It's important because I didn't think I'd been here before, but I'm pretty sure I have a picture of myself next to that computer. So, a quick check on Wikipedia tells me that Pop Century came online in 2003, so that means there's at least one visit, possibly a couple, possibly even more, where I've been here and this has been built. So, and I definitely have a picture of myself next to that big computer, so I've actually been here before. So what's interesting about this is how this trip is bringing back imperfect memories. So as I said, the last time I came was 2007, and then Disney World hasn't really been part of my life for nearly a decade, so memories are still there, but they're just not used to being accessed, so they come back imperfect. So I've definitely been here. And there's another reason why I know I've been here, which I'm figuring out as I walk around this lake, which I'll get to when I get further around. So yeah, well, it's a very nice resort. I'd stay here definitely. So Pop Century is a value resort. It comes in a bit more expensive than sports and movies. Can't remember exactly how much, not massively so, I don't think. But I can understand why. It looks better. They basically obviously took some learning from the original value resorts and just give this one a bit better theming. I mean, movies, music and sports don't have a lake. Well, that's pretty fantastic. So, you know, there's better jogging routes, better walking routes. I can see people jogging around this road, this walkway, which I'm assuming goes all the way around the lake, so we'll find out. So yeah, much better theming. Now I'm coming up on Art of Animation, which is connected to Pop Century via a bridge, which is the other thing that keyed my memory. Now if I remember correctly, well, this is really dragging up stuff in my brain, what was supposedly on the opposite side of the lake to the, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s and whatever of Pop Century was decades further back, so I assume 20s, 30s, 40s. But obviously that never happened, and they built Art of Animation instead, which is sort of a unique resort because I think they have apartments and things in there, so it allows people to come to Disney and have like condos, apartments, fridges, kitchens, which is pretty cool if you've got a family and stuff. So we're going to go through there next, and then I'm going to tell you the next reason why I remember being here when I get to the bridge. So while I'm doing this, I will go into some of the issues that came up at Disney Springs last night. So first thing I'll say is Disney Springs is great. It's even greater at night, much better than it used to be. See? Jogger. Anyway, yeah, so what you get in Disney Springs now is a much more consistently themed area. You move from area to area and it's just brilliantly done. I suppose what, I don't know, unsettled is the wrong word, upset is the wrong word. It just reminded me that I was on my own. So that Disney Springs area is something that really needs to be experienced with someone else. You know, walking through and it, listening to the music, the live music that's throughout each section, which is brilliant how they've done that. It's just throughout everywhere now rather than being limited to what was the downtown bit. But you know, I was up on the top floor of that Coke building and I could have just stayed there for an hour or two sampling the different Cokes. If I'd have been with someone, maybe they'd have had an alcoholic beverage, but since I don't drink, I'd have been on the Cokes. But you just can't do that on your own, so I guess it was the one place that just reminded me I was on my own, because that would have been brilliant to walk around with someone, sort of like with someone. So it was just that really, but as a place it's brilliant. So I seem to be walking around the outer edge, obviously using the lake, so I will get inside and see what results. I think there's like Toy Story bits and all sorts in there. We shall see. Yeah, if I come here again and stay at another value resort, I might have to seriously consider Pop Century. It's just very nice. So this bridge is why I remember being here. So I remember standing on this bridge, which was half built, and looking back to that, which became obviously Art of Animation, and just seeing loads of apartment blocks, but like shells of them, only half built. So yes, I've definitely been here, and I was looking out over at Art of Animation, or what may have been intended to be the second part of Pop Century at the time, but half built. going to follow the lake round and hope it brings me back to Pop Century, which I assume it will do. Seems logical, right? All I can say about the art of animation is, oh my god, I have never seen anything like that. I mean, 80% of the theme park doesn't look as good as that. It's just absolutely amazing. I mean, what they've obviously done is put so certain blocks have internal rooms. I can only assume they're like the apartments. So what happens is each apartment is basically themed around something. So let's take the Cars one. So the Cars apartments are like they're in Radiator Springs. Everything's there. It's just astounding. The Lion King ones are like they're in the savannah with all the characters around and stuff. Just, whew. I noticed there was a Little Mermaid section which had a block similar to All Stars, so it does look like you can stay there in traditional sort of hotel rooms as well as apartments. I have no idea if it's I think it's some sort of value plus resort or something. As I said, I'm not an expert. You'll have become familiar with my iffy memory by now. I think that's what it is, some sort of value resort, but recognised as a bit more expensive. But the theming is astounding. I'm really glad I came here. I've never seen anything like that. Yeah, if you've got a spare couple of hours or a spare half a day, art of animation is just worth walking around. It's absolutely brilliant. So when I come here again, which will happen, probably when Pandora and Star Wars is online and stuff like that, when there's been a significant change, hopefully then the stars will align and I'll have a family member or two to come with me. So when that happens, hopefully I won't be paying all the hotel bill myself, which is quite expensive. So if that happens, then I'm divvying up the hotel bill by half, or half and a bit. I think it caps out once you've got 2 people in. The third person doesn't divide it by 3. I'm going to certainly consider checking out Pop Century because this is just great. So what do you think one of the emblematic icons of the 50s is? Come on, you got about 5 seconds. Wait for it. Wait for it. As you might have guessed, 10-pin bowling. There you go, full circle.